a snake that's never been held before. This is a scared snake, a very scared snake. All snakes are going to be scared the first time you hold them. The only times that this snake has been held isn't really technically handling. It was just to put her in her food box, him or her, to feed. I actually believe it's a him. Put him in his food box to feed him. And then, you know, that was like 2 seconds. So, basically, twice this snake has been put in the feed box. And this is the only time that it's actually been held. So, brand new baby corn snake, hatchling. You can just see by a little bit of the erratic head movements, and I am trying to show the head, but he keeps wanting to crawl away from me. We actually named him after, he's a blood red, and we named him after the color that he is as a baby. Just reminded me of the Bloody Mary drink. So we named him Bloody Mary, but I think, unfortunately, just looking by his tail, he's probably going to be a male. But it's actually the first time I've had enough time to look at him and observe him, you know, since I got him. So he's super, super shy. You can just see him shying away from everything. He's actually jumped off of me a few times, but he's not tried to bite or anything. Some of them will when they're first, you know, and you can't blame them. They don't feel safe. They, you know, don't know what people are. They think that in their minds that you're huge and you might hurt them. Once they feel okay and calm and, you know, understand that you're not going to hurt them, there's no reason for them to feel threatened, and therefore there's no reason for them to feel like they have to defend themselves. Typically, though, they won't even use biting as a beginning defense mechanism. They'll just try to get away. That's what they tried. This is what he's trying to do. This is what pretty much every snake I've ever had has, with a few exceptions, has tried to do. Just get away. What I'm doing is I'm being very slow and deliberate with my movements, and I'm trying to show him, you know, that everything's okay. This snake is too young to really do any more than the hand-over-hand holding. I would lose him, and he'd get free. He'd jump away and get free. So this is the only thing I can do. So instead of, you know, doing any kind of, you know, trying to get him to, you know, constrict or something, I'm actually going to tell you some statistics. There actually is, it's very interesting. I was thinking about, you know, gosh, dogs and cats have to kill a lot of people. Not a lot of people, but I mean, they have to kill a number of people each year. And I wonder what it is compared to snakes. So I looked it up, and you can look this up too if you're interested. You'll find the same results. I'm looking up by for dogs and cats by the U.S. alone. So I didn't look up the whole world, but by the U.S. alone, every year cats kill about 200 people. Kill house cats, not wild cats. House cats. That means that they can either be feral or you know, stray or someone's pet, but they're not like bobcats or you know pumas or anything. They're just house cats. They're just, you know, tiny little 10, 12-pound animals. They kill because of their extreme, you know, fangs and claws. They're pretty deadly. So they actually kill 200 people every year. Compared to dogs, dogs kill about 32 domestic dogs. Again, we're not talking about wolves or anything. We're just talking about domestic dogs. We're not even talking about wolf hybrids, just domestic dogs. They kill 30 to 50 people every year. And then the statistics for a pet constrictor, which means not a snake you find in the wild, not a snake that you know, is venomous either. Just a pet, non-venomous snake. That was 10 per the last, I believe it's 23 years. Let me look at the paper. 10 from, yeah, 10, only 10 fatal, and that's all constrictors, huge, small, combined. We're probably thinking that most of the fatal deaths came from those ginormous constrictors that no one should have anyway, you know, like those retics and things. But in my opinion, no one should, I mean, I guess do what you want to do, but I don't think you even should have a snake that big. So that's, you know, just because they can kill you by accident, not even try to, because they're so big and heavy. I was talking about that in my other video. They may not mean to, but they need to anchor onto something and just anchor the strength of holding on to you by accident. They don't mean to suffocate you, but they could just because they're so strong and they don't really know their own strength. But again, if you have the proper handling and you know how to handle those animals, they can still be fairly safe. I'm not a big fan of those big ones. Anyway, only 10 in 23 years, so that's like about a little less than 0.5 people, not even a whole person, per year, compared to the 200 people per year that cats kill and the 30 to 50 people per year that dogs kill, just in America alone. We're talking about, the cat surprised me. I will be honest with you, because they're so tiny. The cat surprised me. I thought, you know, dogs, of course dogs are going to outpass cats because, like, you know, they're territorial, and a lot of dogs are bigger, you know. I'm thinking, like, cats are so little, you can just fling them off you, like, you know. I mean, they get their claws in the right place, it's too late, you know, they've already torn through an artery. But I mean, 200 per year, that's crazy. And I was also shocked. I already know that snakes aren't ravenous killers, and neither are cats, and neither are dogs. But I'm just saying, you know, we don't think twice about cats or dogs because they're fluffy and cute. When fluffy, cute things misbehave, we kind of just tend to forget it and dismiss it. But when things that other people might not, I think they're all cute, so I'm biased, but things that other people might not see as fluffy or cute, they think, oh, okay, you know, we can't give that a break because that's not fluffy or cute. It looks weird or it's ugly, and somehow, you know, those animals don't get as much as, ooh, this is combobulated here. Come on, pick one, pick a hand. So those animals don't get nearly as much wrath if they're cute for some reason. And so statistic-wise, this is crazy, but statistic-wise, I thought that they'd be about the same. I thought that snakes would be the same as dogs and cats, and I thought they'd be about equal. Statistic-wise, apparently, snakes are less likely to kill people. Pet snakes. I'm not talking about wild snakes. I'm not talking about those stupid people who have those venomous snakes as pets. I'm talking about non-venomous pet snakes. So anyway, everybody, thank you for, see that? See that? It's all nice and calm, and then I moved my hand too soon. Freaked him out a little bit. So just a little bit of proof here that this snake is very cautious and scared, even though it appears to be calming down. He's still not used to people at all. And he's still, at any moment, if I move too fast, could freak him out so much that he just jumps and leaves, you know, or starts squirming, or maybe if he gets really freaked out, he might bite me. But it's only because he's scared, you know. It's only, and that right there, he got his tail caught by accident. He got his tail caught around one of my fingers, and he thought that, oh no, the big thing is eating me, you know. So for not being held at all, this is what he does. You know, some snakes, they're going to try to bite you a few times when you very first hold them. But again, all that kind of behavior is just because they are scared. They're not ravenous beasts. They just would rather be left alone, to be honest with you. You know, they're gonna, anytime they have a chance to run and hide, that's what they're gonna do. They're gonna hide and run away from you. you know, they're not, they'd rather not have confrontation. So, you know, 9 times out of 10, unless you just have a really mean snake, these snakes that have been especially captive bred for such a long time, like corn snakes and ball pythons and things, you know, typically, even the snakes that are really aggressive at first, once they realize who you are and what you're doing and that you're not going to hurt them, they calm down. They calm down and they just kind of chillax after a while and end up being, you know, just as calm as all the other snakes. There's one exception that I had, and it was actually genetic, I believe. There's one breeder that all his snakes, corn snakes, seem really high strung, and I don't know, maybe it's just the kind of the breeding line. That there was one that just got worse instead of better. I've never ever had that happen. Usually, when you, and I'm being honest here, usually when you desensitize and you kind of socialize a snake, they'll get better. He just kept getting worse and worse and worse. And it was just that kind of personality that he just wasn't gonna, you know, get used to people. But I've had, you know, I count on both hands how many snakes I've had. And that's the only snake that was legit aggressive when you went to pick him up. But once you finally got him out of his cage, he was fine. But it was just getting him out of his cage. It must have been some kind of territorial, I don't know. But it was weird. And it was, you know, not normal. It's not what you normally see. This is what you normally see. Trying to get away from you, then kind of calming down, maybe biting every once in a while at first, if you've got a really scared snake, and, you know. But that's all you usually see. Usually, then, you know, after, most of my snakes, they end up getting so tame that little kids can scratch them like a dog, and they don't care. They could care less. And they start out just like this: timid, shy, scared, unsure of everything, and I just go really slow movements, literally. And I don't hold them very often at first. 2 to 3 times a week. I don't stress them out that much. Never hold them when you're feeding them. Or sorry, never hold them when you're feeding them and right after you feed them. You know, most of the bites after they get really accustomed to people is when people aren't feeding them correctly, and then they're mistaking fingers for food. There's a correct way and an incorrect way to feed. So, you know, it's really, it's statistic-wise, it doesn't make any sense for anyone to be afraid of these animals. And I just wanted to share kind of a little bit of those statistics. And again, check that out, and, you know, double check what I looked up. I just looked up in a really quick Google search, and see whether or not I'm lying.